Welcome Cancer to my channel, Mending Tree Tarot. This is a general reading for you for the month of August. It is a general reading, so it may not resonate for everyone, so please take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. I do take pop-outs, so in interest of being more efficient here, I've already meditated, shuffled, and done all of that for you. So as I lay out what popped out, I'm just gonna say, just be careful. There's scammers out there who are posing and pretending to be other people. And so just be careful that you're actually following the links that are underneath the videos of the people that you want to follow, and that the social media accounts that they have are actually theirs. That being said, I don't have social media linked to this channel, so I myself will never reach out to you asking you if you want a personal reading and asking you directly for money. I do have a link down for donations down below, but that's it. I'm never going to solicit for it. So that being said, getting into your reading, I'm going to start with the Wisdom of the Oracle. Sorry, not the Wisdom of the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Colette Baron Reid for you. So to give you a general feel of the reading, and then Rider-Waite after that, I will pull 2 advice cards from 2 different Oracle decks in order to give you some advice on the situation here for the month of August. For that being said, your first card out, Dream Thief, Refusal of the Call. So in the recent past, it looks like the feeling that I'm getting here, Cancer, is that please don't shoot the messenger, but that there has been this need for you to move forward, and that you know that there's this need for you to move forward. However, there are things about how things have been, how your life has been, that has been very comfortable for you. The stories that you have told about your past, where you're coming from, where you're teaching from, has all been from past experiences, which is all very comfortable, and that makes sense. But this staying in the past is exactly that. It is you staying in the past and is not allowing that forward motion to happen for you. And so what it's doing is that it's robbing you of the potentials that can happen. So it's not to say to forget what has happened to you or anything like that. Not at all. Your past is always going to be a part of you and always going to be a part of who you are as a person. You're going to take it with you. But instead of continuously having that be an active part of your life, what this card is asking you to do is to close that chapter on your life and look at it just as that it was a chapter that happened, and that you have the ability to create your future from this point forward. What has been is exactly what has been, and what will be is up to you. Okay, so that's really what this card is talking about. Which is interesting, because then you get into this Benefactor, Grace and Generosity card. So this is all about really karma. Whatever it is that you want to create in your life, know that there's this act of giving, and through putting what's really truly giving is by offering something without any expectation of something in return. So it's very difficult to give to somebody, to loan money to someone that you know, because whether you like it or not, there's always going to be this hope that maybe they'll remember that you lent them the money, or whatever it may be. So it's almost better to give money to a complete stranger, knowing that you're never going to meet that person again, because it truly was giving without expectation of any kind of return. So in a way, it's like you're putting money then in your spiritual bank to come to you in some other form. And so that's kind of what this card is talking about. It's about your intention of honestly giving. Are you really offering something or coming from a place without having any kind of expectation of return, just for the benefit of everyone concerned of what it is that you're giving, right? The fact that you were honestly giving without expecting anything is what allows the universe to be able to give you things in other forms, as just like you gave, right? Because you get what you put out. So what this card is talking about is really check your place where you're coming from, as far as what you're giving and what your expectations of return are on that. Okay, so make sure that whatever it is you're doing it because you truly love to do it, and that's really the best place to kind of come from. If you have a passion in your life where it starts to become a grind, then maybe you have to question that it's something that you want to do, but it's really kind of eating you alive. Then maybe you have to consider, is that something that really makes you happy then, right? You should do something because, especially if it's any kind of hobby or any kind of passion project, because it's exactly that, because it's a passion project, something that comes from you, that you want and love to give, and then it's a part of you and your way of sharing yourself with the world, and that it's coming more from that place rather than any kind of expectation of return. Which, it is amazing to definitely, that's not to say that you can't make money or have income coming from those things, but that should not be your initial want of doing it, right? It should be because it's how you give of yourself to the world. Interesting message I'm being given there, but I have to give what I get. And then straddling worlds. So in the near future, it's looking like you're making this progress. You've started to realize that you need to leave your comfort place in order to move on to this new world. So you're starting to, and you will start to make that step forward, and you'll be straddling who you have been and actively kind of closing the chapter and figuring out who you are, how this new chapter starts for you. So there's some kind of new beginning that's starting here for you, and you realize that, but there has been some kind of releasing process that has been needing to happen, which is happening. Because moving into the tarot here is exactly what it's saying. So King of Pentacles, you are completely abundant. You have what it is that you need. You know what you have to give. And that you have the Eight of Swords in reverse, which in the upright is, self-imposed restriction, because she's not really stuck there. She's bound, but she feels swords that are around her, but they're not really enclosing her. She could easily take the blindfold off and see that she can walk to the castle that's like right behind her, right? So in the reverse, what it's saying here is that you have started to do exactly that. You've started to take the blindfold off. You started to realize that what you have been holding on to was your own restrictions on yourself, and that you have all of this ability to give and all this abundance and wealth ultimately that you have, that you want to share. And so you're starting to see and starting to assess what you can do with that. In your now position, you have the Nine of Pentacles and the Empress card. So amazing cards to have together, especially because Nine of Pentacles is completely self-sufficient. You absolutely have what you need. You don't need anybody to take care of you. You have everything. Like it's I kind of jokingly call it the Beyonce card. Like you got it. You got everything that you have. You don't need anybody to take care of you. You're self-sustaining in every way. Right? You're not in need from anything from anyone else, right? You understand that you have the ability, skills, and resources to take care of yourself. And the Empress also on top of that amplifies, right? People often say that the Nine of Pentacles is like the precursor to the Empress card, because the Empress is like completely abundant, full and creative, like outside of the fact that you have everything that you want and need and that you don't need anything from anybody else, you also are in this creative state where you're starting to generate extra. And an extra can be, sure, financially, but it also can be in what it is that you're putting out into the world. Like I said, we were talking about your gifts and abilities, what it is that you honestly have to give people. And that can be your wisdom, your knowledge, your skills, whatever that may be, insight, whatever it may be that you have, that you're actually starting to see how you can really give that to other people, and like this abundance of creativity that's starting to generate within you. Perhaps you have felt like you were in a little bit of a drought creativity wise, and that's changing for you at this moment in time. And in the future position, you have the Five of Swords and you have the Page of Wands, which is an interesting combination, I'd like to say, because the Five of Swords is really about winning at all costs, right? You see, he's selfish. He's taken all the swords and he's lost his friends over here. Another way to interpret it is that these are also parts of yourself, all elements of yourself for sure. But so just be careful that you're not starting to, I would say this more about a warning about like, just be careful to not try to win at all costs, right? There's still this likability factor, Page of Wands, that you want to, kind of what we were talking about before. Don't get into something and like I'm going to give the example as a passion project again. As a passion project, don't you don't want to work on it so hard that you begin to hate it and it becomes a burden for you and a task that you must do, right? You want to still love it. So although you may say that this has to do with other people, but this can also be within yourself, okay? Be careful that you're not wearing yourself down to, once you get into a groove, like win at all costs for yourself, because the cost could be you, right? Make sure that you still are loving what it is that you're creating and the process of creating it, the process of giving it, and you will see a good return from that effort, okay? Kind of a strange message today, Cancer, a very different one than I normally have, but yeah. That's what it says. So getting into some advice for you, I'm using the Enchanted Map or cards by Colette Baron Reed. Thank you, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. What advice do you have for Cancer for the month of August? You have Wizard of Awareness here. And then I will pull a Santa Muerte Oracle card. Thank you, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Ooh, you got a lot here. Okay, all right, I will take them. You have number 32, 12, 27, and 9. All right. I'm going to read from the books for these just so that it's very clear of what the message is for you. Wizard of Awareness, number 3. You also have a number 3 over here, actually, the Benefactor card, Grace and Generosity. I just like to point that out. Okay, anyway, your soul knows best. Be still and observe. Mindfulness is about being observant and remaining neutral about what goes on in the world around you. This applies to the environment within you, too. If you struggle inside yourself, stepping into an observer position gives you a new, powerful perspective that neutralizes any discomfort or overexcitement. You have the capacity to see things clearly now, unencumbered by opinion or desire. Wearing the world as a loose garment requires you to adopt a sense that nothing that happens to you is personal. People come and go, experiences evolve from one state to another in a continual shifting and change no matter how much you want things to stay the same. The Wizard of Awareness asks you to give up your need to define or limit what you're experiencing now. It's all good. Let it be and watch the miracle unfold without any direct influence from you. Okay. And then from the Santa Muerte deck, you have number 32. And the word for this card is Santa Muerte. This is actually the last card in the deck. Okay. We have come to the last card of the World of Actions and the last card of this oracle, which concludes with a new beginning. Santa Muerte reminds us that all the energy we have at our disposal is a loan, which we will have to pay back, and it is thus our responsibility to transform it in the most beautiful and positive way possible throughout our existence. This energy was present in the moment it allowed us to exist as we lay in our cribs after birth, and it lovingly holds our hand when we face a new staircase in the grave. Just as life generates death and death generates life, this card invites us to accept any change, transformation, or drastic severing of perspective with a smile. And the advice of the dead is, make a firm decision on what to cut and what to change in your life. Otherwise, no betterment will be possible. All right. Number 12. So this is a name of a god, ancient god of war. Oh, I will try to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. I know I'm going to butcher this. Texcatlipoca. He's the ancient god of night, of war, of education, and temptation. He is portrayed holding a mirror which he kills his enemies, forcing them to face their contradictions and discordance. For this reason, he is governed by the archetype of chaos, but he is also capable of sacrificing himself. In fact, he lost a leg after using it as bait to attract the monster, whose body was used to form the earth and human beings. And the advice of the dead for this card is assess in a period of pause and meditation what needs to be sacrificed to leave the chaos you find yourself in. You will thus be able to obtain great advantages from this new perspective. Okay, number 27. Harvest. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and just read the advice for this one. You have not yet reached your final realization, but the results are coming, so persevere and continue in your work. And number 9 is Tlaloc, and he is an Aztec mythology god considered the god of rain and fertility. The advice of the dead here is pay attention and weigh the forces you wish to put into play, because they are like the water. It can irrigate, but in excess, it can cause floods, and in absence, it can cause drought. Okay. All right, Cancer, I'm going to leave it there for now for you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am truly grateful. And for more clarification, please check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. There will be a pick a card option once I finish with all the signs. So if you like what I do, please like and subscribe. It helps others to find the channel and lets me know that it resonates with you. And down below, you should find a link for tips and donations if you choose to support the channel in that way. It is not expected, but genuinely appreciated if you decide to. Thank you so much, Cancer, and I will see you next time.